Hi everyone, my name is Claudine Allen. I'm 41 years old and I'm doing this video to share a testimonial regarding my experience with Susan Muir as a health coach in the AWEmaze Fitness Challenge, AWEmaze Fitness Weight Loss Challenge, which I did between May 25 and September 28th of this year. It was an 18-week challenge. The first 6 weeks had a lot more direct coaching. The last 12 weeks was basically a bonus 12 weeks, which really, I appreciated, and that helped me. 6 weeks was not enough to help me to get the right mindset and get myself together, but that 18 weeks was amazing. So I'm going to just go through a few points to help you to get an idea of what the program is like, and also how the program helped me get to 191 pounds from 207 pounds in 18 weeks. So that's 16 pounds lost in 18 weeks. First of all, I want to say that 16 pounds lost in 18 weeks, it might not be a lot because people can lose 2 pounds per week, and 18 weeks should probably translate to maybe over 30 pounds. But for me, it took me a while to really get the mindset and to get my life organized in a way that was conducive to the success that I wanted to have, which is why the 18 weeks was so valuable for me. The first, I can say that August and September were my two. August, September, in fact the end of August, September, so that's 5, 6, about 7 weeks. Most of my 16 pounds was lost in about the last 7 weeks, right? So it just goes to show how important your mindset is. So why did I join the challenge? I joined the challenge because I was weighing, my weight was between 207 and 210 for a long time, for most of this year, and I really just couldn't take it anymore. And I knew that I could lose the weight, and I knew that I was able to. I didn't doubt the possibility, but I felt so stuck and so heavy and so lethargic and so just not me, that I really felt that I needed some help, I needed support, I needed a group. And so that's why I joined the challenge. Like I said, the duration was 18 weeks. It entailed, first of all, the first 6 weeks included two one-on-one phone calls, private phone calls with Susan, where she checked up on you and gave you advice based on your personal situation. She spent some time interviewing you and figuring out where you were at and how exactly she could help you. Toward the end of that 6-week period, it was done again, and it was done again to find out where you were at personally and how she could help you. But this was a group coaching experience, and the majority of the exercise was done in a group. And I'm telling you, one might think that a personal coach, having that personal coaching experience, would have been superior to the group coaching experience. But for me, that group coaching experience was a huge part of the formula to my success, right? So the group coaching, it entailed each week a Zoom call with everybody. It was probably about 5 or 6 women, about 5 of us, along with Suzanne each week, and we'd meet for about an hour. It was supposed to have been 30 minutes, but most times we did about an hour of talking. And Suzanne would spend maybe about 15 minutes talking to us, sharing education and knowledge about nutrition and fitness. And this was always scientifically backed, research based. It was always based on scientific research, and also her own experience. I want to add that Suzanne herself has lost over 50 pounds, and as a result of that, there's so much authenticity in what she provides to her clients. Not just authenticity from a perceived perspective, but from the perspective of she was literally able to say, well, you know, when you get to this point, this is what you need to do. Oh, you know, if you're having this problem, this is what I did when I had that problem and it worked. And, you know, I tweaked this thing, or I find that, you know, and at the same time, she was so interested in each of us and, you know, how different techniques were working for us, how different strategies were working for us. And if something wasn't working, or if we had a challenge with something, she was ready to not only give a suggestion, but to invite other members of the group to share, you know, how they think that this particular person could address this particular challenge. And that really not just helped us, but it didn't just help us in our current journey and just to, you know, get through that particular week, but it empowered us to help ourselves. And you know, the knowledge, the education, and the sharing, it empowered us to help ourselves. And one of her big things was being empowered to help others, you know. And so for many of us, we started really being empowered to help members of the group. So we were like, kind of, you know, she empowered us, even though she was a coach, she empowered us to kind of coach along each other as well, you know. And I think that was a big part of, you know, how we were successful and how I was successful. So in addition to that, there was an ongoing WhatsApp group, basically a social media platform where everybody had the opportunity to talk to each other every day and to encourage each other and to be encouraged by Susan every day. One of the things that she did each week was she gave us, there were 3 areas that she always emphasized when she was giving us any education each week. And those 3 areas, she always provided us with a challenge. It was mindset, movement or exercise, the physical side of it, and nutrition. Those 3 things every week should give us basically some education, some information, some teaching, some tips on that. And then she'd provide us with a challenge that we were to execute for that week. And the challenge was sort of flexible. So it might be something like, okay, 0 sugary drinks, no sweetened drinks for the whole week. And for some of us, that might have been easier than others because, like, for example, I've never been a drinking person, like a juice person. And for others, it might be a little bit more challenging because maybe they usually have sweet drinks. But we would tweak it based on where we were. So I was never a juice drinker, but I drank sweetened teas. So I would say, okay, well, I'll stop having sweetened tea in the morning. I'll take my sugar out of my tea. And for somebody else, it might have been, okay, they're not going to have any sodas at all or something like that. But the point is that these challenges were there. And one of the areas that were challenged in all the time was mindset. And the challenge would always tend to surround, you know, posting something to encourage ourselves, putting up a chart or something in our surroundings to encourage ourselves daily to stay focused or to do it for somebody else. So those things were a part of it. So we post within a social media group, and then after a while we started sharing our lives in the social media group, and that made a huge difference. Some examples of changes in lifestyle. So first of all, coaches don't really tell you exactly what you must do, but they provide you. Well, in Suzanne's case, my experience with Suzanne was that she shared so much knowledge, so much encouragement, and provided so much support that you were empowered to make some decisions that were useful for you and your lifestyle transformation, right? So 3 of the big takeaways for me was that no more mindless eating. I changed my attitude towards having meals from just sitting down and eating without even thinking about it. So one of the things I did was stop eating in front of the TV. So that was one. So not mindlessly eating. And I learned that through this group. What was another one? Cleaning up my mind. Like I shared before, mindset was one of the big things that Suzanne spoke about a lot and encouraged us to have our minds set toward the goal that we're trying to get to. And that's so important. You can't be thinking negatively of yourself and expecting positive actions and results out of yourself. That's really not going to happen, right? So that's something that I changed, which has helped me a lot. And those mindset changes actually force you to causes you to make better decisions in terms of nutrition and exercise, and it makes it easier for you to make those decisions. And one of the things that Susan always said was that although nutrition and exercise are important, the mindset is even more important because it drives those other 2 areas. The most challenging part for me was just getting started. As I was telling you before, the first few weeks was really difficult for me. But, you know, the group actually cheered me on and supported me during that time until there was a point where, you know, one member of the group said, I think it was Suzanne actually, who said, it doesn't need to be all or nothing. Just because you can't do something that you had planned to do or you wanted to do, or you feel that something, doesn't mean that you need to, you know, like, fail in everything else or not do anything. So if you wanted to do 30 minutes of exercise but you woke up late and you only had 10 minutes, the 10 minutes of exercise, and that was a big deal for me, right? So getting started, getting over those hurdles, those mental hurdles, for me was the most difficult part. But I would say to anybody, try to get through that part, and once you get to the part where you're able to start and follow through, when you figure out what's the combination of things that you need to adjust in your life and organize to get started, just hold on to it and do everything you can to maintain that rhythm and keep going, right? And my favorite thing was finding out how strong I was and finding out that physically I could do a lot of things. Physically, I could build my endurance by exercising hard, and even when it felt hard to push, finding that out about myself was my favorite part, and I don't think I'd find that out about myself without the group and without Suzanne. So thank you, Suzanne. Thank you, AWEmaze Fitness, and thank you, group. Especially, there are two ladies who, you know, were a part of the last section, the bonus section, Yvonne and Cheryl. They have become like sisters to me, and I really, really, really love them. They have been, I mean, we became each other's cheerleaders, and we are still each other's cheerleaders. And that was probably my best thing, the best thing that I could get out of that group. So the relationship and the support, and yeah, I feel like it was a great experience. So that's it. Bye.